Russia's currency, the ruble, is taking a battering of its own. But first, Ukraine's treasury is empty, with debt at around 80% of the value of the entire economy. The country's currency is loitering around a 10-year low at the moment, losing around a fifth of its value just this month. And credit agency Fitch has downgraded the economy to junk status. Ukraine's expecting an EU-IMF economic package soon, but the IMF loan promised last August fell through. And in December, Ukraine signed a $15 billion deal with Russia, plus the gas discounts, of course. This has been postponed until a new government is formed, but Russia already holds $3 billion worth of Ukrainian debt, which was issued last December, of course. So how has all of this been affecting the Russian economy? Well, the Russian ruble has also been hit, stubbornly stuck at a 5-year low. That's as investors back away from emerging markets. With the threat of a debt default by Ukraine rising, the Russian economy is unlikely to get back those $3 billion. That's the concern at the moment anyway. Russian stocks have also slumped, including Gazprom, which provides Ukraine with 60% of its gas. Ukraine is also the main transit route for Russian gas to Europe, where Gazprom has a quarter of the market share. The country already owes Russia about $1.6 billion, and that's for natural gas. So for more on the Russian economy, how it's been affected, impacted in all of this, and the financial strain on Ukraine, I'm now joined by Robert Olds, head of the neoliberal think tank, the Bruges Group. The situation at the moment is Ukraine need, they say, $35 billion to get themselves back afloat. Where is that going to come from? Because as I understand it, it's not going to be one source. They're going to have to appeal to several sources in order to get help. Do you think that that could create some complications in itself?
Yes, that Ukraine will then become, in itself, bidding itself to other countries around the world, offering itself in exchange for financing, in exchange for people taking on Ukraine economy's debts. That will create a bad political situation. It's not one which is conducive to Ukraine being an active, independent country. Of course, this didn't have to happen, this scenario come to pass. It didn't have to get this way, but of course, if countries are going to get involved in promoting regime change within Ukraine, which has now taken place, then there would always be instability, which dries up foreign direct investment. It dries up people buying Ukrainian debt, which is why it's gone to junk status. Really, the whole process of what's happened in Ukraine is deeply regrettable, and the situation has been generated where the economic future is looking very bleak.
We've already seen tensions on the street, to put it very modestly indeed, but when these reforms come into play, if the IMF loan is accepted, what's going to happen then? That concerns me as well. Do you think that we could have more problems if austerity is really heightened?
Exactly, you're exactly right, because when the IMF loans out money, there is always deep conditions which are very onerous upon those who are receiving the money. We look at the money that was loaned to Greece. It, of course, ruined their economy because they had to accept that their assets were owned by the European Central Bank, and the International Monetary Fund had to accept deep cuts to pensions, to education, to all kinds of welfare spending, which actually created a deeper economic crisis and massive unemployment. IMF involvement can actually be a double-edged sword. It can really create economic tensions, and austerity, as well as accepting more regulation from the European Union, will be the last thing that Ukraine actually needs.
OK, Robert, we'll leave it there. Let's just hope things get resolved very quickly for the sake of the people on the streets there. It's getting very dangerous and nasty indeed. Robert Olds, thank you for your time.